Last week, we projected the running backs and tight end stats for the 2024 season. This week, we are tackling the wide receivers. Let's do it. Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. I'm your host, Gabriel, accompanied by Josiah, my brother. Yeah, so that's all I got for the intro.
That was
I don't like formalities. Intros, weird, bizarre. They freak me out. I would rather just do stat projections or just Titans talk in general. Anything you want to add before we hop in?
You're awkward.
Yeah. Speaking of awkward, I feel like your chin's cut out, but I see a lot of room at the top of your head. Oh, you're just hunching. You're all hunched over like a darn witch. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and hop right on in here. Now that the awkward introduction's over with, we're just going to hop right on into some stat projections. Do you want to start off with like the bottom of the depth chart and move up, or do you want to start at the top and move down?
Let's do bottom up because the bottoms no one cares about.
Okay. At least the way I wrote it. For me, the bottom. We're not going to do Jaquan Jackson. We're not going to do Kearis Jackson or any of these undrafted free agents that we signed at the beginning of the year. We didn't worry about any of those. The only ones we're doing is the top three being Kyle. Nope. Kyle Phillips is not top three. Technically, last year he was, which was terrifying. But anyways, the top three, which is Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, and DeAndre Hopkins. Then we also put Burks in there. We put NWI, and then we went and just slid Kyle Phillips in just for some funny fun. So,
do you think he's not going to get
he's not locked to make the roster, honestly. There's a good chance he just gets the old so we'll feel stupid even doing this. But I don't like that. That's why I don't think we should have drafted Jaquan Jackson. But Jaquan Jackson basically just said you're done because now Kyle Phillips is number 3 on the slot depth chart.
That's just dumb. That's dumb coaching. But anyway, let's I feel like Phillips is healthy. I like him just fine in the slot action. I think Will Levis had a good connection with him. But I think it was a Mike Vrabel issue more than anything that he
I agree. I think we talked about that the words are hard. Yeah, we talked about that in depth because I agree. I think that when Kyle Phillips plays, he plays well, but Vrabel said if they can't play special teams and if they can't block, they're pointless. Like, they might be no, Kyle Phillips ain't, but he might be like, he might be a 1,500-yard wide receiver, but guess what? He can't return kicks and he also can't block, so he has no point on my team. That was like my number one gripe probably with Mike Vrabel is just the way he handled wide receivers. It's why somebody like Nick Westbrook-Akina ends up being our number 2 wide receiver every single year because he can play special teams. He's a willing blocker. I love this guy, but as a wide receiver, he's just like,
yeah.
So
Vrabel should have been a coach in the 90s.
I agree. He would have been a great coach like from the 90s to like 2008.
Yeah.
He would have been honestly top gun in my opinion. But I think the NFL just kind of changed him and left him behind. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, we ain't talking about Michael Vrabel.
Yeah.
We were talking about Kyle Phillips and what our stat projections are. We'll just take turns going first like we did last time. Also, I'm jotting them down here on my phone, so you're going to see me with my phone. I apologize if that's unprofessional. But guess what? We're not professional. Because I've made absolutely 0 pennies thus far on this channel. But anyways, Kyle Phillips, I have him set at 120 yards and 0 touchdowns. Like I said, this is not what I would do. If I was head coach, I would not do it. But first of all, let's be honest. Huge injury guy. Loves being hurt.
1,000%.
Nothing better than sitting out some practices being hurt. So this is not what Gabriel would do if he was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. This is what Rand Carthon showed us. To be like, okay, so what we got? Kyle Phillips is our slot receiver. Let's go ahead and sign Tyler Boyd and draft Jaquan Jackson. Now he's our number 3 slot-only guy.
Nothing against Jaquan Jackson, but I think Kyle Phillips, at least for what I can tell, by Phillips in his pro career and Jaquan Jones in his college.
Jackson.
Whatever. Sorry. And it's like Kyle Phillips just looks better to me. Like Kyle Phillips had a better college career than Jackson did. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah.
And he's done fine in his NFL career when he's healthy. I have no idea why they would put him behind Jaquan.
I mean, like health would be one, and two, just being healthy scratches, which again, that's a variable thing. So we'll see how this goes. But I just feel like it's one of those situations as well where, and I hate that GMs do this, but a lot of GMs do it. This Kyle Phillips isn't a Rand Carthon guy.
Yeah, I do too. I hate that.
We'll see. Rob's last draft guy.
I'll say this. Will, to me, last year, I think Kyle Phillips played better than Traylon Brooks, just in my honest opinion. You know, and Traylon Brooks is obviously guaranteed a spot base, I would think, on this team, but Kyle Phillips is not.
I mean, they had about the same amount of yards, but almost literally about half of Traylon Burks' yards came from one play against the Chargers, like 70 yards.
Exactly.
But anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm taking too long saying this. So sorry. So my thing with Kyle Phillips is I'm gonna be generous here, and you're gonna laugh at me, okay? I'm gonna say 280 yards, and maybe do with injuries, maybe with on a head coach will do maybe some more 5 wides and stuff, and he'll be able to find himself some room on the field. And maybe I'm just too high on him, so I'm gonna say 280 and 0 touchdowns. Oh yeah. Should we do one because you don't want to do exactly like you? Oh,
correct. Let me put it this way: he should get lots of red zone touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he won't.
All right. So there we go. NWI next.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with NWI. I'm going to say he's going to get 2 touchdowns. And I'm going to say he's going to get 495 yards.
Wow. 495?
That too nice. Well, here's the thing. I do not like Traylon Burks at all. So I think by the end of the season, he's not going to be playing much, and NWI will be in more than you would think he is. And because I don't like why, but it was Ridley not being young, Hopkins definitely not being young. I expect one of those two to get hurt somewhere throughout the season, which is going to push NWI further down. That might be a lot of yards anyway, but I feel like he's gonna play more. Like I don't trust.
It'll be a career year for it. Let's put it this way: it'll be a career year for him.
What's his high?
3 something, I think.
Really? I didn't realize it was that
he
low.
may have barely broke 400, but I really don't think he did. I think 390 is about the highest he's ever gone.
I might be too nice to him though.
I think
that was almost more me trying to bash Traylon Burks than with NWI. But I'm going to give Trey. Fine, you convinced me, buddy. I'm gonna say he's gonna get 410. I'm gonna still feel just because again, you got to remember with throw more. I think that's to go. You know,
yeah, us throwing a lot is gonna be a big factor. Good thing. Yeah. Happy about that.
Because the Titans roster not having hardly 1,000 yard receiver and everyone else is 300, 400. That is unheard of. Like that's unacceptable. That's dinosaur football. That's just ridiculous, to be honest. So I'm hoping that's behind us.
Well, I remember back in 2022, Robert Woods was our number 1 wide receiver in yards, and he barely broke 500. That's insane.
That's unacceptable. And so, I do think me saying these yards to these receivers sounds crazy, but that's because we're Titan fans. We're not used to receiving yards.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got 410 and 2. 2 touchdowns, 410. That's what
I have him at 220 yards and a touchdown. Because I just feel like he just got pushed so far down the depth chart. Like, obviously, you got your starting 3 in D-Hop, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd. And Nick Westbrook-King is probably not going to be the first guy off the bench. If Tyler Boyd gets hurt or needs a break, it's probably going to be Jaquan Jackson stepping in the slot.
Is that high in the slot in our receiving core?
I mean, we don't have that many receivers. We really don't have that many receivers.
Yeah, but I say I like all these receivers. I like Jackson. To me, shouldn't even be on the roster. We shouldn't even pick him up. So maybe I'm extra hard on him. But him getting any receiving time just doesn't sound good to me.
He's been turning heads in OTAs and minicamp and all that too.
Yeah, so did Traylon Burks last year, and I heard Traylon Burks looks good this offseason. I heard, but it's different between OTAs, even in training camp, and then it is in real games. But we'll see.
The thing is, some people just like to see new faces. Sometimes people are like, we know what Burks is. We know what Phillips is. Let's see Jaquan Jackson, see what he can do.
And who knows? Maybe he might prove me wrong. But for now, I'm okay if he doesn't step on the field unless it's returning kicks and punts and stuff. But
Anyways, unless Burks does something, Burks will be the first one off the bench from the outside. So that's why I only have NWI at 220, because I just feel like he's just so dang far the depth chart. I think he's the number 4 outside receiver is where I think he is at the moment. But like you said, I'm sure injuries are going to pop up. The fact that D-Hop actually played all 17 games last year was good. Especially remember the very last drive of the Saints game, which was the week 1 matchup. He rolled his ankle. Remember himself? I was like, this is not good. But he ended up playing all year. Did good. Really good. But anyways, 220, 1 touchdown for NWI. That's all I got.
Okay.
All right, moving up to one called Traylon Burks. This this might be way too nice of me, but I'm gonna put him at 285 yards, 1 touchdown. And here's the thing, and here's why I feel this way. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Traylon Burks' rookie year, I thought he played really good football. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah,
last year,
he was garbage.
He was garbage. He could not stay healthy still, but he could not catch a football.
Nope.
He couldn't. He didn't get that many targets, and he just so many times would just drop it or just start tripping for no reason and just fall down.
The problem with Traylon Burks is if he gets touched, he won't catch it.
No, and he's too big for that.
He's too big for that.
He'll have like 30 pounds and 3 inches on the cornerback who's covering him, but he tugs on his arm a little bit, then Burks is hitting the floor.
Yep.
And it's just he's disappointing. He'll be a pleasant surprise if he comes on and breaks 500-600 yards and a couple touchdowns. Like, okay, that's what you want out of your number 4 receiver or your number 3 outside receiver. That's what you want from it. Okay, good job, buddy. But I just can't make myself predict it, especially after looking like an idiot last year, saying he's going to go for like 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah. So anyway, with me, I would say that so far you don't have many receivers getting yards, do you?
Not with these ones, no.
I think
NWI is about the same as he's been. Burks is going to stay about the same as he's been. But here's the thing. They're staying where they are, yard-wise, kind of where they've been the last couple of years. But they're being moved down. Because technically, like Traylon Burks and NWI is number 2, number 3 last year. And Kyle Phillips, number 4. Like those 3 are top 4 options. They're all moving down, but they're all staying the same because I do think we're going to pass the ball a whole bunch more.
All right, for me, the Traylon Burks, I'm going to say a touchdown because right now he hasn't scored many touchdowns. 1? Is it just 1?
Yeah.
That's shameful. But I'm going to say, what do you have for touchdowns?
I have him at 1, but I was really torn on 1 or 0.
So I
like to put him at 0. I'll let you keep him at 1. I'll put him at 0.
I'm going to do 1, and I'm going to do 270 yards.
At 270. So you had very similar. I had 285 and 0. Technically, I had 285 and 1. You had him 270 and 1. So we have similar thoughts.
But I would say if he does, let's say just my numbers, 271 touchdown, he's good as gone. Like, he would be 1,000% a bust.
Yeah, I'll say.
You know what the Titans need? Real quick, I'll say this. We need
a young wide receiver. That's good.
Yes. We need to draft somebody that's all guy. Like Hopkins is not going to be considered a Titan. Boyd's not a Titan. Ridley is not a Titan. We need to get somebody that's all guy. We draft him day 1.
Technically, we got Traylon Burks.
He's not.
We got Kyle Phillips. We got Jaquan Jackson. Got Kieris Jackson. So we got some people. It's just we're not getting the right people.
The last couple of years, and we've had different GMs and head coaches, but the last couple of years, we just don't do a good job drafting receivers, and we don't really focus on them. Like, we don't draft them high, except for Traylon Burks.
But the last 2 years, we drafted the 7th round and the 6th round.
Yeah.
6th round this year, 7th round last year. That's the only wide receivers you've drafted, which is crazy because we really were in the conversations for Malik Neighbors, and he went 1 pick before our pick.
That draft made me mad. And I'm trying to accept J.C. Latham, but, man, I would want Joe Alt or Neighbors. It's just...
Yeah, J.C. Latham seems like a good kid, and his work ethic is
and
outstanding.
I heard that he's strong as an ox. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that this is going to be a bust. But I just think Joe Alt's going to be better. But I just think he could be a good, solid tackle for us. And I know he's strong as an ox. But again, in college, what I heard is he heard pancake you or miss. And I'm scared that the export pass rusher is going to make him miss more than
Yeah, they could.
Yeah,
I mean, there's going to be a learning curve for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Which could be bad for Will Levis because there could be some whiffs and then they just get a clear shot on him.
Yeah,
we should see.
He should be used to that by now.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. All right, let's move on. Am I going first?
Yeah, with Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. I'm
That's when
going
I
to
fill out the
say
rest of mine.
465 yards and 3 touchdowns.
We keep going the same number on touchdowns on these guys. All right. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a little bit of a dip as well. I think he's gonna continue his downward dip, and that's kind of what happens with age. I got him at 615 and
Yards?
615 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
So that's where I have him. I also had him at 3 touchdowns, but that's what you said, so I went ahead and upped him a little bit. Yeah, because he went from like having 800 a couple years ago, then to 700, and then last year was 660 something, I think 667. So I got him 615, continuing his kind of his downward spiral. But I also feel like he's gonna know the offense better than anybody because he came from Cincy. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's kind of a safety / security blanket for
that makes sense
for Willie Levis. Plus, I feel like every single time they're showing like highlights from training camp, it's always Tyler Boyd getting the catches. So seems like he's found some early what's that word called? Rapport, I guess, with TB. So that's all I got with Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's been in the league for so long, just one of the most dependable slot receivers. Not the regular slot receiver, because he's a big slot receiver at 6'2". But you just kind of know what he is. You just know what he is. And that is one thing I did like about the Boyd pick and even the Ridley pick is these guys aren't rookies or just taking flyers on them. Like they've been in the league long enough, you kind of know what they are, especially with Boyd. Yeah. And that's why it's not like it was a risky thing to do to bring these people in because they've done it for a while now. So you just already know. All right, let's go ahead and move it to, I have Calvin Ridley, even though I think he's going to, I'll go ahead and spoil this part. I think he's going to have the most yards on our team this year. I have Calvin Ridley at 1,140 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Okay.
I think he's going to do better than he did last year because he had basically 2 full seasons off. Comes in last year and barely has 1,000 yards, like 1,008 or something, like barely 1,000 and 8 touchdowns. So I think he's going to get a little bit better because now he's back used to, life in the NFL again. So I got him at 1,140 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he will be our number 1 wide receiver.
All right, I got him at 6 touchdowns, and I got him at 910 yards.
Yeah, you've kind of been down on Ridley since we brought him in.
So I feel like I have my other receivers a little higher than yours, and then I have the starting receivers a little lower than yours.
Gotcha. So go ahead, lead the way. I like the way we talked so much about Burks and NWI and Phillips, and then we get to the big dogs. I'm like, yep, this is their stats. We just move on from them.
And then D-Hop, I got 5 touchdowns and 880 yards.
Oof. So you think we're only getting 1,700 yards from our top 2 guys?
Yeah, I expect, again, injuries. I actually even expect injuries at Will Levis, too. So then we're going to have Mason Rudolph throwing, and that's probably going to hurt the yardage on him. So if you put that both together, then I expect a bit of a dip for them.
Gotcha.
And I think we don't have and I could be wrong here, but we don't have a solid, like, you are number 1, you're much better. We have a 1-2 punch, so they're going to kind of split.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, they're both the starters. One starting on the as the X, the other starting as the Z. So, I thought you were going to judge me for having D-Hop having down from last year. How many touchdowns did you say?
3. Nope, wrong. 5.
I have him at 975 and 6.
975 and 6. Okay.
Yeah, because I still think he'll do fine. He'll do good because he'll be getting on. He might honestly get more targets per game, but again, it's risky business. Risky business expecting a 32. He just turned 32 last week, actually. Expecting a 32-year-old receiver to still produce at a super high rate and start all 17 games.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't expect him to play 17. I really don't.
No, neither.
I just did the math, Gabe, okay? Of the receivers, tight ends.
I was going to do that too at the beginning. I'll do mine at the beginning of next video.
What?
I'll do that at the beginning of next video to see how that lines up with what I actually project Will Levis to have. But go ahead, what you get?
So do you not want me to say it then?
You can if you want to, but yeah, I was going to do it privately and lead off the video and be like, here's what I apparently predicted.
Okay, never mind.
Well, you can if you want to, because technically it wouldn't exactly match anyway, because the Jaquan Jackson, even if you don't like him, he's still going to get some yards.
Yeah. Well, if I put all my yards together, and I gotta admit, I don't see Will Levis throwing for this much. It's 4,751 yards.
Ooh, that's
Like,
nice.
300 yards away from being at 5,000. I don't see that. So I think I overshot some here with some receivers / tight ends and running backs. And, yeah. I would love for Will Levis to throw 4,700 yards, but I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. All right, well, that is what we will be tackling next video. So hopefully everybody enjoys, looks forward to a little Willie Levis stat projections. Is there anything else you want to say about these wide receivers before we go ahead and call this one a day? We do have more firepower than we've had in a long time, so that much is exciting.
A lot of question marks in the sense that we don't know what Ridley's going to look like with the Titans. We don't know what Boyd's going to look like. Is Traylon Burks going to bounce back? Or is he going to continue to be a bust? Is Hopkins going to stay still at a respectable level of play? So this is a lot of firepower, but there is a lot of question marks. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. Yeah,
father time comes for everybody. So did not come for Diop last year. I thought Diop was just straight up really good for us last year. I thought he only barely broke 1,000 because we didn't throw the ball a whole lot. So the question is him.
When you do offensive pass defense like he does, it helps a lot.
It does help. Just shove him off you. Just don't extend your arm all the way.
And he just does stuff like that should be called. I just don't know how he gets away.
Yeah, especially the whole push off, because the rule is stupid. You have to extend your arms. Your elbows lock, then it's a push off. But he pushes people like that. It's worked out for him. So.
And I think I'm still bitter for all the times he did it with us.
Just all the time. He just kind of just jog his way into the end zone. The ball will be up in the air and just kind of shove the guy, catch it, touchdown. And our cornerback just It's happened so many times through the years. So yeah. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, that being said, that's our little projections for the Tennessee Titan wide receivers for the 2024 season. So we will get on out of here. Maybe like, subscribe, and we'll be back soon.